you, to those of you who have come out. We had a couple other people who signed up, but they're not here. I'm not sure what's up. I'll follow up with them. We're going to... What's that? Well, everybody has something.
Shauna's in the washroom.
Hello. Thank you. That's what people have to decide, right? Because especially if they're a new person, like I need them here. So we're going to start off by just reviewing the 3 organizations. And for some of you who have done stocking before, this isn't new information, but looking at it from a judge's lens may be new, okay? Because you're looking for different things than what a competitor is looking for, okay? So we'll start off with that. And then we'll get into some video stuff. We won't get through the whole video today. We'll finish it up next Wednesday. So a little bit of background about the tournament. This is our 4th year of doing it. In the past, we've had about 150 elementary students from anywhere from 6 to 9 schools participate. This year, we're expecting 6 schools, our own included. A little bit smaller, about 110 students. Still seems probably like a lot to you that are judges. You will have anywhere from maybe 5 kids in an event to 20 kids in an event. It just depends on the age group, depends how many people register. But we have 3 different individual competitions. That's the 3-3-3, 3-6-3, and cycle. And the students are divided. Can we not stop when I'm talking, please? You've got students divided by boy or girl. Okay. If someone's registering transgender, then they would compete in whatever gender they identify with. We have students that are divided by age as well. So the age groupings, usually 8 and 9, 10 and 11, 12 and 14. You've got an 8, a 9, a 10, and 11-year-old. They compete in the 11-year-old category. Okay. Do you have a question or comment?
Do we have any special staffing this year?
Good question. We have a couple of special stalkers, but we don't have like a large group like last year's. Lincoln Centennial isn't sending their special needs class this year, so we just have a few individual special stalkers. So special stalkers are students who identify special needs, and so they compete in their own category. Okay, so just to be aware of that. All right, so let's start off. 3-3-3 to begin with. So if you could take out 3 cups, 3 cups, 3 cups. This is all going to be gone over through the video, but I just want us to have a chance to kind of play with the cups for a few minutes, just because it's easier to remember things when you actually get to do it versus just watching, okay? So the big things that you want to watch out for is that your competitor is stacking on a mat. You don't want to have them starting with their cups off, the mat, partway off the mat, having them stack 1 cup off the mat. It seems like an obvious thing, but it's not always obvious, especially when you have some students that are used to practicing on the really big mats at their schools, and then they come for competition and they have the shorter mat. And that's sometimes a surprise to them. They go, oh, that's a really small space. I'm not used to that. So you want to remind them that they need to keep their cups in the competitive sort of mat space. You, as their judge, you can give them feedback. Okay, they have 2 practices and then their 3 tries for their event. So while they're practicing, if you got to make sure you're on time, okay, ladies? So while they're practicing, you can say to them after they've done a practice, oh, by the way, make sure your cups stay on the mat. Or if when they do an organization, they make an error, you can say, oh, by the way, you made an error there. Okay, so you can correct them as long as they're in their practice phase. As soon as they go to one of their 3 official tries, you can't correct them. Okay, so
Liam,
that's something to be aware of.
Gym,
okay, so what they need to do is pick a side to stack on, starting from left to right or right to left. So you can choose which fits best for you. You want to see that they're stacking with 2 hands. If you see them doing this, if you see them stacking with 1 hand, unless they're a special stacker, okay, and they have like a disability, don't have use of one of their hands, that would be something you would correct them and say, don't forget, you should be using 2 hands when you stack. Okay, so let's just give the 3-3-3 a try. We're going to use 2 hands. We're going to stack up, stack up, stack up. We need to go back to the beginning. Down stack, down stack, down stack. Okay? If you see your competitor do this, where they up stack, and then they go back the way they came, that would be like a disqualification, okay? So you're going to get a sheet that's going to give a spot to record the time, and it's also going to give you the 5 things that could potentially go wrong when they're stacking, okay? So like the 5 errors that essentially you're looking for. So it's kind of like your cheat sheet to remind you of the 5 things that could potentially go wrong. And they're going to talk about that in the video, okay? Let's try the 3-3-3 one more time. So stack up, stack up, stack up, back to the beginning, and then down stack, down stack, down stack, okay? So hands, you don't have a timer, but you can pretend that your hands are on a timer. This is where their hands begin. They then stack up, they stack down, hands have to finish on the timer. You're going to have a tournament timer, so it's a sort of big long stick with a big display. That's where you're going to get the time from. If your student knocks the timer, sometimes students do this, they hit it and then they kind of hit it again, like their hands bounce, or sometimes they don't like their time, so they, by accident, clear their time. That's a disqualification as well. So you need to remind students, don't clear your timer. Like, you need the time to actually be able to see their time. So if they go, oh, no, I saw my time, it was so-and-so. Yeah, sorry. You can't just take another, like a student's word for it. You have to actually see the time on the timer, okay? If you have questions along the way, please don't be afraid to ask. All right, let's try the 3-6-3. So we're going to have 6 cups in the middle. Those of you who came in late, there's mats and cups up here, so you can try it. Yes?
What's the last one or last point?
For the final down stack?
Yeah.
Yes. And then I'll talk about that in the video as well. Okay, so for the 6 stack, really the only difference from the 3-3-3 is you have the 6 in the middle, okay? So again, they start their hands on their timer, they then begin, they up stack, to down stack, they go back to the beginning, down stack, stop the timer. Okay. And again, if you're going, I'm not really sure how to do this fast, that's okay. You're the judge. You don't have to do it fast. As long as you understand what they're supposed to be doing, that's what's important, okay? So again, they're up stacking, they go back to the beginning, they down stack, and they stop their timer. So you don't want to go up and then back that way. You want to go around. Okay. So, back to where you started, down, back up. Okay.
You guys might not see
So
my
that
face
whole
for a bit.
going back to the beginning thing just means whatever side they started on, they need to do that again. Okay. So up, and then they have to go back over here, down. Okay. All right. Any questions about 3-6-3? Okay. So the cycle is the big one. And again, for those of you that are new to stacking, I don't expect you to get this right away in terms of being able to perform it. All you need to do is know what you're looking for. Okay? So for cycle,
There.
your cycle starts with a 3-6-3, goes to 2 side-by-side 6s, then it goes to a 1-10-1, and it ends in 3-6-3 position. Now, however they get to that, it doesn't matter. There is sort of an official way that we downstack it that's quick and efficient, but if they're just moving things around with their hands, that's absolutely fine. Okay, so they set up in 3-6-3 position to start off. All right, so let's just go ahead and do the beginning. Do that 3-6-3. And then we're going to go, again, back to the beginning, whatever side you started on. Down stack, down stack, down stack it. Now we're going to do 2 side-by-side 6s. Okay, 2 6s. So, stack those. And don't be concerned if you're not doing it fast. It doesn't matter. You're not the one competing. As long as you know what you're looking for. Then we go back to the beginning. We down stack them. And we set up for a 1-10-1. So that's 1 cup on one side, 1 cup on the other. You'll notice one is flipped upside down. That's actually left over from an old tap and turn rule that they used to have. Before you down stacked, you had to turn and tap your cups. They no longer do the turn and tap. They just have retained this position. Okay, so they have to turn their cups that way. And now they have a 10 in the middle. So they're going to do their tower. So you can go ahead and do that. And if you see cups flying, that's normal. It happens all the time. All right, so there's an official way to down stack it. But like I said, don't worry if you can't do it. Many of your students won't be able to. Okay, so as long as they end in 3-6-3 before they hit the timer, it doesn't matter how they get there. The official way, if I could do it without knocking them over, is that way. So that, see, I'm in 3-6-3 position, and then I hit my timer. But if they end up like that, with, their cups look like this, as long as they recognize, oh, shoot, I can't leave it like that, and they move their cups around and they hit the timer, no problem. Slows them down, but it's still legal for them to do. Okay? All right. So that's cycle. All right. Then we have the 2-team events. So we have doubles. Julia, can you come up here for a second? I'm not going to make you do it, but just so they can see the positioning. So imagine that Juliet was my doubles partner. Okay. So doubles is where you have 2 people on a team, as I said. They compete in whatever the highest age, so you will compete in the 44-year-old category. And what they have to do is one person, both people put their one hand behind their back. So I'm the left hand, she's the right hand. And we now have to do the cycle together. Yeah, exactly, right? So, can we start on that side?
Yeah.
Okay, so, all right, so ready? Okay, we'll just do the beginning so that you can see kind of the idea of it. See, we haven't practiced together, so. Okay, you get the idea. So that was just the first part, right? That was just the 3-6-3 part. Now we'd have to go into the 2 side-by-side 6s, we'd have to do the 1-10-1, and we'd have to down stack it as well, right? So that's the doubles.
Tanzil Ali to the office.
Then you have relay,
to the
so that is
office.
4 people on a team, and they line up just like relay, where one person goes after the other. The first person in the relay starts their hands at the timer, and when they're ready to go, they start it, and they do 3-6-3, but they don't hit the timer. They run back, tag the second person in. Second person comes up, doesn't touch the timer. Hello.
I just needed.
Oh yeah, sorry. These are the people I have. Okay, that's absent and yard.
Yeah. Emma.
Yep, she checked in with me. Yep, so as long as I can get that back. So then the second person comes up, does 3-6-3, third person comes up, then the final fourth person comes up, they do their 3-6-3, they hit the timer and stop it. So whatever the timer says, that's the time for that group. What do you suppose happens if person number 3 hits the timer by accident before the fourth person has a chance to go? It's called a scratch or a disqualification. What do you suppose happens if person number 2 is doing their 3-6-3, they tip over their cups and they don't correct it before person number 3 comes up? It's scratched out. Yeah, it's another scratch, right? So we'll talk about what are some errors that can happen along the way, and if they're not fixed, what does that look like? Yeah.
Usually, like from past experience, if like the first person messed up or like the fifth person or whatever, I will tell the team like, okay, it's a scratch, like don't worry about it, and then I'll tell them if they just want to keep going the extra practice or if they want to come and do their next scratch.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Because know that for relay and doubles, they don't get a practice. They get their retries, but that's it. Like they don't get to practice in advance. So you're right. If they make an error through one of their tries, use that as a coaching moment. You can say, sorry, that was a scratch for this try, but just so you know this was the error that you made, try not to make that error again next time. Okay? All right. Any questions before we start the video so you can start seeing some of the more intricate rules and stuff?
Are there rules?
Not that I'm aware of, no. Okay. All right. So let's give it a try. And we'll pause at different times.